something else that isn't easy. Generating leads on LinkedIn and generating leads in general isn't easy. It takes time, it takes a lot of thought, it takes a strategic process of refining and continually improving your marketing and sales actions. And we've sort of set the scene or set the context for LinkedIn being a fantastic social network, and one of the best digital marketing channels for generating leads in a B2B context. So how do you actually generate leads? So there's 4 key components I've designed here as to how to go about generating leads on LinkedIn. And the first 2 we've covered, and that's getting the basics right, optimizing your business and personal profiles. And the next is build quality connections. So it's all about quality connections over quantity connections, and growing your network and growing your business followers. And then the third thing here now we're going to talk about is sharing knowledge and awareness, and position yourself as the expert or the go-to person in your industry, and using content and content marketing to do that. And then the next thing is a sort of an element of sales, and an element of a sales process and sales prospecting, and researching prospects and finding the decision makers and connecting with them, or influencing them in some way. So we'll first look at sharing knowledge, spreading awareness, and building authority. And that's how you position yourself for your company as an expert in your field, or as the go-to company for your particular product or service. And sharing these unique insights and knowledge spreads awareness organically, because it's they're usually engaging posts, and the more interactions and engagements you get on a post, the more people that will see it. And that over time builds authority, and essentially a reputation for knowing what you're talking about. So what I would say is, post regular content updates which are unique insights into your industry. Use hashtags. Hashtags are a great way to get added visibility, because people follow hashtags on LinkedIn, they click on hashtags on LinkedIn. I'd recommend maybe 1 to 2 on a post, certainly no more than 3. And you use branded hashtags, so use your company name, InvestNI, hashtag InvestNI, or whatever, and also a hashtag on the topic that you're talking about. And these sort of regular updates are a great way to stay in front of, or on the top of people's minds that are in your network. It almost works as a free organic advertising, because it appears in their home feeds or their news feeds sort of on a daily basis. Albeit there is an element of an algorithm on LinkedIn which categorizes your posts in terms of engagement and how relevant they are, and so on. Other ways to do that, other ways are to create articles, which is on LinkedIn Pulse. So that's like a blogging platform where you can publish content, and it's an ideal way to demonstrate that you're an expert in your industry. You can use that platform to maybe anticipate and answer prospects' questions, and that can really instill some confidence that you're the right business to choose, or and if they need a problem solved, you can solve it, because you're publishing regular content. And you can publish content, videos and images and so on. It's a really sort of effective way to do that. One thing about that is that you're providing your profile is public. That can actually come up in search engines as well. So if somebody was to search for 7 tips for generating leads on LinkedIn, that can actually come up on the Google search results page or Bing search results page, and they can click directly into that, see who wrote it, and then follow you or connect with you or follow your company page from there. So it's a really good way to publish content. You can also join and contribute to groups. They're great places for networking with potential leads. You can again establish your expertise by answering questions or offering resources that are relevant to the conversation. Although one thing I would say is that it's important not to join a group and immediately start bombarding people and pushing your services or your products and so on. That can sort of seem a little bit disingenuous, because LinkedIn groups are there to help people and share knowledge and connect with each other. and it can really sort of turn people off and repel people from you if you start to do that. You need to build that relationship first before you're making any sales pitch. And the idea here is to build authority by being helpful, not promotional, not promotional. Some of the good types of content to share on LinkedIn are native videos, of course, like John Deere have here. And native videos are just videos directly uploaded to the platform. They are one of the most engaging types of content on LinkedIn, and that's general across most social media platforms and online in general. Sharing third-party resources, so reports from HubSpot, Sprout Social, or whatever network that or industry that you're in, and maybe give your take on it. So this is a great report from X showcasing what we've seen over the years and blah blah blah. So sharing third-party resources and putting your spin on it can be a really good way to do it. Uploading photos of your company, the people within your company, or graphics as to what it is that you do or what industry that you're in, or some sort of insights or knowledge within the industry are a great way to stop people in their tracks when they're scrolling down newsfeed. Links to your blog site, links to SlideShare. So SlideShare is a platform where it's basically a library of online presentations that LinkedIn purchased a number of years ago. And again, that's another good way to build that authority by putting up presentations of, how to generate leads in LinkedIn or whatever you're an expert in. You can also create case studies here and stories, and tell people about how you've helped companies, and where the company was that you helped prior to your intervention and where they are now, and so on, providing you have agreement for them. And that can really be some sort of social proof as to how good it is you are at what you do. So some content there that works. And many of these actions you're probably taking on a daily basis already, but these actions help you find leads. You might just need to think a little bit more strategically about it in order to get the most out of LinkedIn. And like other social platforms, it's just as important to plan your content each week. Evaluate what's working, what's not working, how often you will post. Both from a personal and a company level. Publish articles once twice a week as well. So it's 1 to 2 blog articles, which is a lot. And once people start connecting with you, start reading your content, commenting and sharing your articles or your posts, that's when you start connecting with people. That's when you start trying to build those relationships. So in conjunction with building these relationships and so on, the next aspect, the fourth key pillar or aspect of generating leads is the sales element of it. So sort of the sales prospecting process by identifying companies and decision makers to target. So first think about your sales cycle. Who's involved in that decision-making process? What are the steps in the sales cycle? Does it last 6 months? Does it last a year? And what it is you actually want your decision makers to do. So is it download something on your website, visit your website, agree to a sales meeting or a sales phone call, or respond to you in an email? So think about what it is you exactly want to do. I was recently working with a software company who had a piece of software that could really improve the efficiency and accuracy of manufacturing lines, and they wanted to work with people in the aerospace industry. And what they did was they pinpointed an aerospace company, and they looked at the sales cycle, and they looked at who influences the purchasing of new products and items in that particular industry. And this particular company had a process whereby team leaders and mid-level managers every month had to take new ideas to directors, and they knew that it was very difficult to get in front of the directors. So their approach was to communicate content to the team leaders and the mid-level managers to showcase how their software would improve efficiency and lead times and accuracy and so on manufacturing lines. So that's what they did, and over a 6-month period they were communicating with these mid-level managers and team leaders to the point where it was then taken to the decision makers, and the decision makers through the sort of influencers made the decision to actually buy the software. So it was a strategic decision and a real sort of sales process. So what I would recommend in that instance, so what they did was they created a hit list of companies and decision makers or influencers that they want to target. One thing you can do is, first of all, probably that's an offline mechanism where you find the people that you want to work with, and then use LinkedIn search to find the company. And you can use the advanced filter then to filter by location, to filter by size, to filter by industry, and so on. But once you find those companies, you can then go into those companies and see what employees are actually on LinkedIn within those companies, and see if you can find the influencers and decision makers, and then initiate contact with those decision makers. And whether that's add them as a connection, or join the same groups, or nurture the relationship, and that's what you need to do, is nurturing that relationship by commenting on the same posts in groups, or messaging them off the bat, and say you want to share insights or so on. So don't jump into the sales pitch straight away. So organically, those 4 key processes, optimizing your profile, building connections, sharing content, and then researching and finding the people that you want to work with, are key aspects and sort of organic ways to generate leads.